The trade winds exercises are over and graded a success. Prime Minister Motley reacts to the attempted assassination of the Prime Minister of Slovakia. City fire victims get a helping hand. And in sports, 39 teams entered for this weekend's Masters International Football Competition.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Trade Winds 2024 has officially ended. The curtain came down on the two-week multi-country exercise this morning during a closing ceremony at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre. Rianne Phillips tells us more.
For the past 2 weeks, over 24 partner nations totaling approximately 1,300 persons came together from across this hemisphere, taking part in training exercises and building strong relationships and expertise on land, at sea, in the air, and even in the cyber domain.
That's the co-director of Exercise Trade Winds, Commander Mark Peterson, speaking on the exercise co-hosted with the United States Southern Command, which has been hailed as a success. And that sentiment has been echoed by the BDF Acting Chief of Staff, Lieutenant Colonel Carlos Lovell.
Without fear of contradiction, I say to you that our regional networks are stronger now than ever before. The United States invested over $8 million in this exercise, and that is a true testament to their commitment to hemispheric security. Ambassador Nice and Admiral Halsey, on behalf of a grateful region, please accept our collective thanks and appreciation.
The acting BDF Chief of Staff also thanked the Barbadian public for embracing the exercise.
The Barbadian people have embraced Trade Winds exercise this year like none other before. I want to say a sincere thank you to the people of Barbados who embraced all of the foreign visitors to our land, and also in some cases they said that the helicopters kept them up at night, but they enjoyed it with a smile.
And in her address, Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley praised the participants for executing the various ground, air, sea, and cyber simulations.
I want all of the persons who participated in Trade Winds, and I'm told that I have one or two ministers who did as well, to please stand. All. If there are any of the diplomatic community who did, Roger, thank you. On behalf of the region of the Caribbean community, on behalf of this country, I want to salute you for your service. I want to salute you for your willingness to be able to give of yourself. For those who have never served in high office, let me remind you that if you ever did, you would appreciate each and every person who is standing. Because to put your life at risk when there is no other life that you have is the highest form of service known to mankind.
During the official closing, the respective co-leads received special tokens from U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Roger Nias.
I want to recognize 4 individuals, and I'd ask you to come up. So Commander Mark Peterson, the Barbados Defense Force Exercise Co-Lead, please join me. I have Colonel Chip Carrolls, please join me. Ms. Rosie Sandoval, the Army South Co-Lead and Lead Planner. And Major Angela Valsine of the U.S. Southern Command. And I actually ordered custom challenge coins that have my Native American tribe on one half and the Eastern Caribbean and Barbados on the other. So I'm going to share a challenge coin with each of our co-leads and each of our leaders that made this possible.
Next year, Exercise Trade Winds will be held in Trinidad and Tobago. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
And Prime Minister Mia Motley has been sharing her vision for crime reduction in Barbados and the region at large, given the high homicide rates. She believes the time has come for more young people to be exposed to various service clubs.
Young men and women, in my view, ought to be exposed in the context of cadets, service clubs, scouts, other types of service clubs, because they must know how to handle tools with respect. We teach them to cook. Many, I hope. And even though a lot of people have electric stoves, they still have to learn how to use matches for those occasions when they have to light a gas stove. And we teach them how to light a match responsibly, because we don't want them to get burnt. I believe that there ought to be a significant expansion of the number of opportunities for young people in this region to understand the importance of service, but equally to understand the importance of how to handle weapons, whatever they are.
The Prime Minister has described yesterday's assassination attempt on the Prime Minister of Slovakia as regrettable. She says the incident is just the latest indication of how much the world has changed.
The world in which we live today is significantly different from the one that we faced then, or indeed at any stage over the 35 years that I have been in public life come July this year. And it strikes me that we don't need to look any further than the last few weeks. We don't need to look any further than the daring kidnapping of a prisoner yesterday in France. We don't need to look any further than the regrettable shooting, the attempt to assassinate the Prime Minister of Slovakia yesterday.
Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Marcia Cadell, says officials are working closely across ministries and agencies to strengthen gender-sensitive responses during crises. She was speaking ahead of a panel discussion as part of Exercise Tradewinds 2024 Women, Peace and Security Senior Leader Forum. Rachel Agard reports.
The Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology is exploring creative ways for law enforcement and other agencies to leverage new systems as technology evolves. Minister Marcia Cadell reveals that one recent initiative involves using data and technology to map vulnerabilities and develop systems that help authorities locate the vulnerable during crises.
So what we are working on is using data that we've gathered from the census, data that we've gathered from work of the Coastal Zone Management Unit, that we have gathered from the Lands and Surveys Department, who through their building ID project is able to assign a building identifier to different kinds of buildings. We are also able through our digital ID project to be able to put all that information together to understand exactly what groups of people are vulnerable, which groups of people are more vulnerable during crisis and insecurity, and importantly, how can we find those people? How can we deliver essential goods and services to those people during a crisis?
Moreover, the minister highlights the development of technology that enables citizens to send alerts for assistance across different categories in times of need. Minister Cadell also emphasizes her ministry's collaboration with the Barbados Police Service to enhance the utilization of technology.
The Barbados Police Service is working with us to be able to have a sense of predictability in the threats that might occur from time to time. And so being able to apply things like AI and data science and data analytics to the regular administrative data that we collect all the time, these are ways that we can contribute to making sure that those concerned with law and order and maintaining peace are able to strengthen how they do that.
Minister Cadell has also hinted at the possibility of implementing a digital court system, which is expected to facilitate remote delivery of justice to individuals who are unable to appear in person or it is unsafe for them to do so. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Thanks, Rachel. Barbadians owe the Barbados Revenue Authority $1.8 billion in outstanding taxes. But Manager of Communications and PR, Carolyn Williams-Gale, is urging those with outstanding balances to engage the authority.
Here to work with you to ensure that everyone fulfills their tax obligations. So we encourage anyone with outstanding taxes or outstanding filings to come forward and engage with the BRA as per the avenues that had been outlined in the notification. We are here to support you on your path to compliance, and together we can build a stronger Barbados through responsible tax practices.
Ms. Williams-Gale acknowledges recent concerns about emails sent to many Barbadians about outstanding taxes. She says the tax notification system is designed to improve overall tax compliance, and the BRA's aim is to assist in that regard.
The tax notification system is a crucial tool to addressing this challenge. It allows us to identify taxpayers with outstanding balances as recorded in our system and initiate open communication and conversations with them.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, thousands of dollars donated to assist recent city fire victims. Help for the families affected by the recent fire in Wellington Street, the city. It came in the form of a donation of $10,000 from the District Grand Lodge of Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean to the St. Ambrose Anglican Church today. Trevor Thorpe was there and filed this report.
Before presenting a check for $10,000 to the rector of the church, President of the District Board of Benevolence, Achiri Adams, told the gathering the initiative will be administered by the St. Ambrose Anglican Church and is part of a long-term plan of the District Grand Lodge of Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. He said it is not a one-off affair.
We know that their needs are short-term as well as long-term. To that effect, we have also decided to embark upon a collection drive, and we shall be collecting various items that have been identified as being critical to those fire victims. And once we have collected those items, once again, we will distribute it to the church, and they, through their outreach program, will give those items to the fire victims.
Rector of the church, the Reverend Clive Thomas, gave a breakdown on how the help will be administered.
When it comes to the funds, we will be concentrating on those families whose homes have been totally destroyed or partially destroyed, not those who suffered from some smoke issues. We're going to be dealing with the families whose homes were totally destroyed or partially destroyed. When it comes to the foodstuff and the toiletries, once we know that those who are greatly affected have been properly cared for, then we might be able to extend to the others. But our main focus is those that are really suffering because they lost everything or almost everything.
District Grandmaster Clement Bird says he hopes their effort would help the affected families to get back on their feet.
We were here not 2 weeks ago, worshiping in this very church after our 336th annual district communication. So you would appreciate that it had extra resonance to us, that here we were giving faith and grace to God, and then to be told that there were some circumstances nearby. And as our president has said, this is what we are, this is what we do, apart from fellowshipping with each other. We conduct ourselves accordingly to the grace of God, and we offer service, and hopefully this small measure on our part will go some distance towards alleviating some of the pain and suffering.
The District Grand Lodge of Barbados in the Eastern Caribbean is an organization scattered over 10 countries from St. Thomas in the north to Grenada in the south and has a membership of over 1,000 men. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The Freemasons have also been assisting the Salvation Army, as Wendy Burke reports. The Allied Masonic Degrees of South and East Caribbean provided a sum of cash and a quantity of provisions to the organization.
A much-needed injection of cash and produce were handed over to the Salvation Army by the Worshipful Brother Maurice Gaskin, Deputy District Grand Prefect for the Order of the Allied Masonic Degrees for South and East Caribbean, covering Barbados, Trinidad and Guyana. He says the donation is an annual one, just like their scholarship. And after fire disaster in the city, more people may need the meals.
To assist them in their food program and community work, which is aligned to what we do as well. And so it is fitting that for another year, we responded, and we continue to not only respond to this particular venture, but also scholarship-wise, education-wise, where we present a $3,500 scholarship to a student at University of the West Indies, KFL, who meets the criteria that we set out. But this particular instance, we felt after we gave last time to the Salvation Army, and we believe that in recent days, some persons who may be affected by the Wellington Street disaster might be coming here.
Richard Mears, the Right Worshipful District Grand Master for Master Masons of the South and East Caribbean, says they made 2 donations. He wants to be able to do more to help.
To make 2 presentations. He did one on behalf of the Allied District Degrees of the South and East Caribbean, of which I'm the District Grand Prefect. I know we did a presentation of a $500 check and the food stuff to support the Salvation Army soup program. It is with great pleasure that I am here this morning to present this stuff to Major Pyle, and I really appreciate the work he's doing. I have a soft touch in my heart for feeding the needy, and I will make sure in the future that I could give him more support at least once or every 2 months going forward.
In accepting the donations, Major Robert Powell said they are grateful to the Freemasons who are assisting with the meal programs.
Of these wonderful items that will keep our menu quite healthy and nutritious to our clients. You know, the Salvation Army exists to serve others. And that sort of mantra and mission statement is interpreted in different ways. In our case here in Barbados, we have our weekly, daily feeding program where we serve those that come to us in our dining room, approximately 150 to 200 per day. And we have our Meals on Wheels program where we go to the various parishes and distribute meals to between 65 and 75 persons a day as well. So this goes a very long way.
He added that donations like these help to reduce operational costs. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Prime Minister Mia Motley this evening fully endorsed a charity and the work it is doing to uplift the talented youth in the Bush Hall area. Ms. Motley, who had some dental surgery, felt the initiative by the Building the Future charity was too important not to come and let the 2 young athletes know how much their success means to the neighborhood and the nation. Under-9 Liam Howard-Niles and Under-13 Rajada Hines, who are both Victor Ludorum and Victress Ludorum from the athletic meets, they have been given necessary funding from the charity to attend an upcoming meet. The Prime Minister says excellence is rewarded in many ways.
Help those who help themselves. And in seeing you help yourself, you see what blessings have come upon you now. So I want to say to you and to you that keep doing your best. Don't put extraordinary things in your way to make you feel anxious. But at the same time, don't aim for here, aim for where. If you aim for the sky and you happen to fall short with the clouds, you're still higher than everybody else. You understand? And we will tell you that while we want you to be Olympians, that if you do well enough in this sport, there are so many other options for you as well in terms of how you would make your living if you want to, so you may want something else. But if you want to, there's so many options. And therefore, that is where we want to get you at this stage as early as possible.
Media practitioners are charting the way forward to embrace all levels of media and change perceptions. But business development consultant at Media Insight Limited, Sharon Aline Alcock, says data is not being used to drive audience in the way it should. She was speaking following a panel discussion titled The Power of Perception, Media Intelligence for Enhanced Engagement at the Radisson Aquatica.
If you are not using data, you're really operating on feeling and gut, as opposed to really understanding what is it your audience expect, what is it that they currently feel about you. If you want to change that perception, here are the things that you may need to do, the strategies you need to employ to get that to happen, and then turn around again and use the data to measure, have you been successful?
Meanwhile, founder and chief executive officer of Media Insight, Alison Damas, who was also the keynote speaker, says while social media has taken the world by storm, in the Caribbean and in particular Barbados, radio topped the list for news.
In terms of traditional media, radio is still very strong, right? Also, we find like even the traditional newspapers, The Nation, and of course you have Barbados Today, you have the online versions, and these online versions are then able to have a global reach.
Ms. Dimas adds that going forward, media practitioners also need to pay attention to the type of engagement, the tone of coverage, and know their target audience to achieve maximum reach.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Let's get over now to the world of sports as we're joined this evening by Damien Best. Damien, good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Well, 39 teams have been entered for the Barbados Invitational Masters Football Classic, which kicks off tomorrow at grounds across the south of the island and runs until Whit Monday. The competition continues to attract players from the region, North America and the UK. One of the organizers, Trevor Thorne, says they've increased the age categories from 3 to 4.
As you know, it will never stop because you will always get older, and therefore you fit into the 35 category, a 40 category, a 50 category, and now, like me, a 55 and over category, brand new. The competition is fierce, lasts for 4 days, one match on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, one Saturday morning, one Saturday evening, 2 on Sunday morning and evening again. Depending on where you end in your table, you go to the cup or the plate. Semi-finals on Monday, with Monday morning. You have to beat the opposition to get to the final on the evening. Your reward on the Monday evening is you'll get all the coverage via CSI, across the networks, and your family back at home, if they're not here, will get to see you on TV.
Well, Jacqueline Gill of the Tourism Development Corporation says there are tremendous benefits for Barbados as a host of such an event, including the spend by touring teams.
Over the years, we have supported events such as the Darts Festival, the Hockey Festival, Barbados Open Water Swim, Surf Pro, and cricket tournaments. And we acknowledge that the work of the TDC is essential in supporting the development and maintenance of our tourism product.
Meanwhile, Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.'s manager of sport, Kamal Springer, says the organizers of BIMFC have continued to promote the tournament with measured success.
They went all over the world to promote this tournament, into the United States, into the United Kingdom to promote this event. And the BTMI will be right there alongside them next year to do that even bigger and better. We see tremendous opportunities in Latin America and Europe to promote this event. And we're going to be working very hard with them to make sure that there are all those opportunities that we can take advantage of to generate more visitation to Barbados from wider parts of the world. So last year, I'm told that they generated around 300 visitors to the island and generated just over $150,000 in economic impact per day, which I think deserves a round of applause for this event.
Harrison College started their National Sports Council Under-16 volleyball campaign with wins in both the boys and girls section over Dighton Griffith. Playing at home, they triumphed in straight sets in both categories. With highlights of the encounters, the CBC's Anne-Marie Burke.
We start with the girls. Harrison College back in the screen had the opening serve and Dighton immediately returned the ball. The college girls had a chance to take first dibs and here they set it up, but it's out of court, so Dighton get the first point. Service comes from their end now and it's picked up nicely. No aim to set up a point, but the return is effective enough that it's off the player and out of court so that both teams are now on the score sheet. And this is where College started to take command with a string of points. That was an ace. Very next serve, same result. Another one. College really had the upper hand and Dighton was just not getting it right, so the points were stacking up against them. A change in serve did bring some new life to the Dighton girls as College just did not have the right response despite a good effort. College did win back the serve and the aces started coming again as they edged closer and closer to the 25-point mark. And here is set point. Dighton just could not get it together as the college girls won the first set at 25-7 and by the same margin in the second to start their campaign with a victory. The boys' game was way more competitive as both teams showed equal skill and teamwork in gaining points. That was a nice save from the Carrie Harris, and the college response at the net was quick fire, nicely saved again. And despite a nice spike in front court, the net infringement actually gave Dighton that point. A nice floating serve, and this time College gets it right. A sweet little dink does the trick. Some errors on Dighton's part also lent the college boys' cause. And when I say it was really a level playing field, this nicely executed point by K.L. Greenwich put the scores at 13-all. But after the early tit-for-tat, the college boys had found a rhythm and pulled ahead, and this put it at set point. The serve comes in and it's picked up, but then they're stopped in their tracks at the net by Jalen Smith. College take the first set at 25-16. The second set followed pretty much the same script, where Dighton started hot, but then petered off as College upped the ante. Not to say Dighton was totally out of it, this dink falls into the college midfield. One of the problems the boys from Kingston had were too many errors, and College was capitalizing. And a set and game point. College looking to close it out. Dighton clearly making them work for it. The free ball and the point is setting up. In comes Smith with a spike, and the attempt at return is out of court. The final set is taken at 25-13 as College made it a clean sweep over Dighton. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business, Barbados will be the venue for a major international investment conference later this year. Director of Sales and Marketing at Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lord's Castle Resort, Michelle Olivier, tells the Business Report Barbados will be in sharp focus.
In the Wyndham family, we're new and big, so we've got a lot of eyes on us right now, and they're very excited about the product. We have Chico's coming, which is the Caribbean Hospitality Investment Conference in November, and that's a time and a place that we'll be able to really showcase our product.
The resort official says Barbados will benefit.
Wyndham is a big partner of ours as well, of course, and they're doing about 20% of our business right now, and we expect that will maintain and grow. They've got corporate contracts all over the world, and that has been a huge benefit for us.
The interconnectedness of the economy and nursing may not be obvious initially, but economic power is critical to the delivery of health care. Dr. Christine Greenidge, the Chief Operating Officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, who delivered the feature address at the Nurses Seminar for Nurses Week, says the sustainability of the island's healthcare systems depends on money.
I am sure that at some time, all of you have reflected on how economics impact the healthcare sector. Certainly, your reflection will include a curiosity about costs, about affordability, technology, and of course, insurance and quality of care services. But have you ever seriously reflected on how economics affect your profession of nursing?
Dr. Greenidge told the nurses gathered that in looking at the system, they should be able to identify unnecessary expenditure to save costs in some areas so that there is money to go around.
Cost savings, efficiency improvements, and the promotion of sustainable health care practices. This theme underscores the importance of recognizing and valuing the economic impact of nursing care while advocating for improvements in nursing education, workforce development, and retention of nurses to maximize its potential. Nurses have a substantial impact on health economics in several ways. The first is cost delivery care delivery. Nurses often play a key role in implementing cost-effective healthcare interventions and practices.
Now let's join Damien for more sports. Damien.
Thanks so much, Pearson. Well, the Ghana All-Stars women's cricket team has arrived in Barbados ahead of this weekend's West Indies Women's Windball Cricket Festival. The Guyanese will join 6 other teams for the tournament, slated to start on Friday at the Glebe in St. George, and they're intent on coming away as winners.
We are here expecting to win and to bring home the trophy to our country, and we know that they're home cheering for us so that we can bring this trophy for the first time. I have visited Barbados in 2007. And I had a great time participating in the tournament. I love cricket. Cricket is my game. Cricket is my life. And the rest of my teammates, they also love cricket. And we're here to have a clean sport. We're here to have a clean game. And we're expecting to win this year and to lift our country's name high.
Back after 11 years, the West Indies Women's Windball Tournament is set for a 2 p.m. start on Friday and will run through to Sunday with a grand prize of $10,000 up for grabs.
Before we go, we can tell you that police have been called into the Democratic Labour Party's headquarters at George Street after reports of a break-in. Steve Blackett, who says he is still the duly elected General Secretary of the party, confirmed the development just moments ago.
By cutting the locks and the chains, they then proceeded to breach the office and the conference room. When I got that report, I called the police immediately. The police came and they're still on the scene investigating the break-in.
Well, that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.